Okay. Show me.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the Dutch Sheet channel. And what do I have for you today? Well, you might recognize this. It is a very nice quadcopter, the Diatone TyrantS. And if you own this quadcopter, I'm sure you'd agree that this is a nice quadcopter, flies very well, pretty fast. And yes, I also have a Diatone Crusader GT2. I like this one a little better just because it suits my flying style a bit more with the battery mounted on top. This is of course a personal thing, but yeah, I like this quadcopter quite a bit. However, it has a major drawback, which is no OSD. This quadcopter has no OSD. And in fact, the first flight I had with this quadcopter, I ended it up in a tree, because my battery was low. Yeah, so in this video we're gonna remedy that. We're gonna replace the original video transmitter with a Diatone version that has the OSD included in it. Basically the same video transmitter that comes in the GT2, the Crusader. So let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, this is a quick overview of what you get if you order that SP2 video transmitter from Diatone. You obviously get the video transmitter, which is different in two ways from the stock Diatone TyrantS one. It has a USB connector over here to configure the OSD. And it has this UART on the side here to get info from the flight controller into the video transmitter, right? It also comes with a bunch of cables, two of each. Well, not a USB cable here, but the video signal cable and power for your video camera, etc. You get two of those and two UART cables to connect up to your flight controller. With that, these SP2 video transmitters are general purpose. You can use them in any quadcopter, and as you can see, you can easily mount them in a stack, in your electronic stack. And you get a screw and washer to mount the pigtail antenna. So that looks very nice. And it also comes with a manual with a handy diagram over here. That's very nice. And a frequency table, yes sir. So that's nice. The documentation on these Diatone parts is always good. Okay, back to our quadcopter. Now obviously we need to open her up. And we're gonna first take off the propellers. Well, at least I will. Not for safety's sake this time, but to have easier access to things. After that, there's a total of 8 screws you need to take out. 2 over here, 2 over here, and 4 at the front bottom, which run into these uprights, the pillars that form the camera protection cage, so to speak. That's the easiest way of taking this quadcopter apart, so we'll go and do that. Okay, and we should now be able to pry the quadcopter open. Let's see. Okay, of course be careful not to snag any wires. Okay, and it's also handy to take off the video antenna. Okay, I've also dismounted the pigtail from the top plate, as you can see, and we now have access to our flight stack. Oh, and let me dismount the receiver as well. Okay, so the thing you see here is obviously our flight controller with, underneath that, the video transmitter. So obviously we need to take off the flight controller as well. Okay, with the flight controller out of the way, hello, there, we can now see the old video transmitter and the new video transmitter. And let me see, at the front you can simply disconnect this all-in-one connector over here, and that'll connect to the new video transmitter. There goes the old video transmitter, new transmitter in, and connect it to this multi-connector again. Okay, that was pretty painless, I'd say, and with that all said and done, you now basically have a video transmitter again that should work. However, you don't have an OSD yet, so you need this here cable to connect it to the side of your new VTX. Now, what I'll do is use this cable, OSD data wire, that does not come with the TyrantS or this new video transmitter. This one came with my GT2 Crusader. So yeah, I'm a bit lucky there that I have that cable already. What you'll have to do is use this UART cable that does come with the GT2 and solder it up to this cable that comes with the new VTX. Obviously you'll have to take a close look at the diagrams of both the SP3 and your flight controller. Okay, with that all said and done, we can now replace our flight controller. Please make sure to not forget the rubber washers. That'll dampen the flight controller, vibration dampen it. Without those your quadcopter will fly considerably less sophisticated. Okay, so to this port over here I had my receiver connected, which is UART 2. So I'll connect the OSD cable from the VTX to this one. Oops, I have to interrupt this program for a service announcement. What I just told you about the connectors will not work. I tried it obviously and it doesn't work. Now let me show you. This is a diagram of the flight controller with the UARTs at the back. And let me see the USB port over here. And in the past, before I had the OSD installed, I had my receiver connected to this UART 2, and that works. And I simply did that because my receiver had the right connector for that UART already installed. So that was easy peasy. Now, if you then connect the OSD cable, the data cable coming from the VTX to UART 1, that simply won't work because that UART is also used by the USB apparently. Yeah. Okay, so what I did do and what does work is I moved my receiver to this, the dedicated receiver port basically, on the side of your flight controller. And I plugged the data cable from the VTX to this UART 2, and that does work. Pretty simple, right? So you're left with this UART 1 unused. Okay, let's see what's next. Well, we can obviously now reconnect the receiver to this UART and screw the top plate on. And it can be handy, by the way, to now set the VTX, the output level and your channel, because you now have clear access to that button over here and you can see the display better than with the top plate of the quadcopter back on. Okay, what we also need to do is set the UART on the flight controller so it outputs OSD data, right? So we'll have a look at that now.